Jack, your company Caddix, it's a Baltimore, uh, I guess native company, right? How did that like? Because I saw it involves like the SmartStuds technology and everything, and obviously like the turf injuries are a big thing in the news now. I mean they have been, but it's been increasingly being talked about. But how did that come about?
Yeah, I think more so. I mean, there's been turf injuries for decades since turf became a thing. So I think right now it's just people are more health conscious and aware of these injuries. Um, I think it was good timing on our part and timing that I really can't take credit for, but certainly good timing on our part to try to target a common denominator that is cleats between the two surfaces that are widely used in football, lacrosse, soccer. So it came about just watching players tear their ACLs when I was younger after high school, and my dad and I were just kind of sitting there talking and thinking about how it's something it could give at the ground level. It could help, reduce the force, go to the ankle, go to the knee, go to the hip. So it was a guessing game for a while because we weren't in this field. So it took two outsiders to figure out how to let cleats give. But like I said, the timing was very precarious because there were so many injuries back then, but no one talks about it as much as they do now. But right now, Mahomes goes down, Micah Parsons goes down. That's a very contentious topic, and they were both on grass, and they're both on cleats that were deemed safe. So it's just, I don't know, it's kind of that time, I guess, just to talk about footwear and fields.
Yeah, like especially with turf, like obviously like you just said, the two injuries like those happening grass, but yeah, being more like conscious of like what you're wearing and things like that. In terms of like specifically like Jacoby Lane, I know you guys have had like both Baltimore former stars like Dennis Pitta, like Joe Flacco, um, Todd Heath, like guys like that. But was there like a specific reason for like obviously like a rookie like coming into the NFL? Like, did you have a connection with him like beforehand, or it was more of just when he came on the team?
Yeah, so Todd Heap's son was Jacoby's quarterback in high school in Phoenix, Arizona.
Right, right, right.
So when Jacoby got to USC, Todd talked to him about Caddix, and I think Jacoby wanted to try a pair. We sent him a pair, and then he never took them off. And that was 8, 9 months ago. He started wearing them. So I think the best part about Caddix, besides the functionality, is that when players put these things on, it's a visceral response. It makes sense to them. The selling is done. It just makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, no injury connection with Jacoby. Just he knew Todd. Todd was with us, and he liked him so much. He turned down a bunch of other companies to get involved with us at the stage we're in right now. So, I mean, he's a smart guy, and he's looking towards the future.
Yeah. Um, Going back to like college, like with college football and NIL and stuff, like had that like changed sort of any of the process, or it's been more of like, hey, we want like this guy, potentially to wear a shoe and support the brand and invest in the company, things like that.
It doesn't change the process for us because we're pretty stubborn when it comes to doing things we think is right. So as far as NIL goes, and even the NFL at this point, honestly, we don't pay anyone to be a part of Caddix. We
Yeah,
got over 100 guys in the NFL wearing Caddix, and we haven't paid a single person. So I think that really speaks to volume about what we're doing, what we're creating. But I mean, NIL is tricky in college because there's so many long-standing apparel contracts that kind of, I don't know, gatekeep companies like
yeah, yeah,
mine
yeah.
from getting involved. So we don't really
Oh,
put an
okay,
effort towards those. But when they get in the NFL, it's kind of any man's game.
right. I mean, I saw the list. Like, obviously, one of the biggest former stars, Tom Brady. Like, how did you get him on this? And like, obviously, like when did it start?
Yeah. So Tom's friend Alex Guerrero. Alex Guerrero was just this brilliant mind and brain behind a lot of medical stuff that I don't understand, frankly. But he told me that Tom wanted to try a pair. We sent him a pair, and then the flag football thing came about, and Alex
Mhm.
sent me a picture the day before and said Tom's in these cleats, and that was it wasn't a shock to me, but it certainly was surreal and a bit of a surprise because I didn't know he was going to wear them or not. But he liked them enough to wear them, which is I don't know Tom at all, but from what I hear, Tom doesn't put anything on his feet he doesn't believe in. So it's pretty
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like starting out like with when making the company, how has that like just evolved from like the first day onward and maybe like the first year or two to like how big it is now?
I think the approach to this whole company was a bit unconventional. It's really tough to keep track of.
Okay.
I did it in my garage when I was 19. I took 4 years off to get the patents awarded. I went to college for some reason, and then I got done all that stuff and decided to actually make cleats. And that was only not even 3 years ago. And we've only had product for 18 months. This has been a decade-long journey,
Wow.
but we only had product for 18 months. But I mean, since we've had products, the NFL is buying them. First non-licensed thing bought in NFL history. We're in Dick's Sporting Goods. We're in Scheels. We got these at the cross team are in them. I mean, it's very surreal and tough to wrap my head around sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's been a fun journey for sure.
Yeah. Long time coming. I guess the next thing I want to ask is like in terms of like future growth and like expansion and like anything like new upcoming with the company. Um, uh, is there anything you can talk about like that maybe stuff in development?
Yeah. In terms of product, I mean, we're gonna keep innovating. I think a lot of um, companies usually just paint things different colors. You know, it's like a 2027 car coming out with the same exact engine and interior as 2026, but it's a prettier color. We don't really believe in that approach to products. So, next year we'll have a different engine, and after that we'll have a different transmission, and like that's just kind of how we're going to approach products in general. And they're going to be nothing but products that help athletes. And one day, eventually, probably in the next couple of years, we'll go into non-cleated because not everyone wears cleats, but everyone wears shoes. So
Mm,
we're just going to grow and expand and on the field, off the field, on the court maybe. So it just kind of depends. I think we're really good at Caddix, and this isn't me, this is my team, but we're really good at
yeah,
listening to what the market says and what the market wants. So we're extremely nimble, very small, very flexible. So we have time to wait for the market to tell us what to do, and then we can act on it. So I know it's very vague. I'm sorry to be so
no,
vague, but
no, that's okay.
um,
Um, to go back to the founding of Caddix, like with when you partner with like your the co CEO, founder. How did that like go about? I know you just said you started in your garage, basically. Yeah, that's how a lot of great companies start out. So,
yeah. Um, I'm sorry. Sorry, what's the question? I'm sorry.
oh, like you mentioned, like you were the co-founder, like
Oh, co-founder.
you're getting involved with like your team. Like, how did that process go about?
Yeah. So my dad's the other co-founder. So it
Oh,
was
okay.
he and I were in the garage just tearing apart cleats, trying to figure out what's going on. And then as we got our first patent, our second patent, a little bit of family and friends funding, we had some test results from universities that kind of backed our claims. That's when the
Mm,
team came about. That's when I started saying, all right, I'm good at this, but I'm not good at 17 other things. So I need to go fill those gaps. And I think it's all happenstance at the end of the day, but we're in a position that kind of that plays in our favor because we get a lot of good people around us. Like our team in Oregon, who actually develops and designs cleats. I
mm,
mean, they're brilliant. We couldn't do enough good in our lifetime to deserve those people on our team. So it's it's a lot of luck, but it's also recognizing, and we do it pretty well at seeing and saying, all right, this area is running a little thin. Jack's good at this, but he's not good at this, and I'll be the first one to tell you I'm bad at it. So I think just filling the gaps, taking the ego out of it, and just trying to do what's best for the company is where we're headed.
yeah. I just have a few like quick questions. Other than Jacoby, obviously, since he's the most recent addition to investing in the company, like who's another of your favorite athletes that wears your cleats right now?
Um, Another favorite athlete with my future now. That's a good question. So Cooper Cup is wearing them, the
Okay.
Seahawks, and
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of him. I also really like J.C. Horn, Panthers. He's a
Mhm.
cornerback. But yeah, just I mean, I like this. We got a number of guys who are just absolute ballers, and it's great to
Yeah.
watch and turn on Instagram and look at Instagram and see who's in them that we didn't think would be in them because now the NFL can buy them. So now we're kind of losing track of the number of athletes who are actually wearing them, which is a really good problem to have. But
Yeah.
Carson Beck is a young guy. I think he's gonna be really good, and he's wearing them, and I think it's exciting to watch. And yeah, it depends what day it is, man. So
Hmm. And then I guess this kind of goes into another question, like, in terms of Caddix itself, like I know I touched on the smart stud technology, but like what's like another feature maybe you want to add to the in the future, or maybe something like something surprising about um that you got in terms of like customer feedback.
yeah, so going back to the beginning, we made these cleats off of a survey we sent to 1,000 athletes, and we
Right?
were pretty much like, "Why do you hate your cleats?" And everyone said the same thing. So these
Yeah.
cleats that you can buy right now at Dick's online, they're cleats that athletes designed, and I think that's really important. Like I said earlier, we listen to the market when it tells us things, and I think moving forward, whenever we're going to make cleats because we think they're better for somebody else, we're going to ask somebody else what they want in their cleats. So moving forward, functionality aside, comfort's a huge thing. It's the first thing you notice when you put your foot in something, right? You don't
Mhm.
notice functionality, you notice comfort. So I think
Yeah.
that's a big component we try to focus on when we have design meetings and we have futuristic vision boards, and the comfort has to match, it has to make sense too. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, my last question was like, if there's another player you want to invest in the company, like other than like obviously the hundreds of players you have right now, like who would be like one guy you would be like, oh, like that was like my childhood's favorite player growing up, something like that.
yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that my childhood hero is Todd Heap, so I'm pretty much 1 for 1
Oh
with
yeah.
heroes. But I mean, being from Baltimore, Ray Lewis. I mean, I got all my offensive favorites. I got Pitta, Flacco, and Heap, but defensively, I mean, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. Those are the kind of guys that I'd love to get involved with, just because I watched them my entire childhood. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, obviously, like with Jacoby Lane, like it's like you said in the or what was said in like the announcement, like you know, players investing back into the company is like huge because like it's a massive like endorsement um to like support like what you're wearing, obviously, and it kind of makes it like it's a little different than like, oh, I'm just going to be a partner or like a brand deal a sponsor or something like that. But yeah, like I guess the last thing I wanted to touch on is like within like maybe like 5 years, like where do you see like the company like expanding towards?
I think we're going to set a standard for cleats. I
Hmm.
think you saw it in Guardian caps, how now it's required to all practices, and some states are even sanctioning it as a requirement and a mandate. And I think that's kind of the path that are hoping to take. We don't want to make hoodies, and bracelets. We want to make things that help athletes, and we want to have the data
Yeah,
to back it up. And we say, all right, this should be the next thing that gets mandated. So I think that's the approach we're hoping to take the next 5 years. I think that's subject to change depending on a number of things that I probably can't predict right now. But that's definitely the desired outcome for the next 5 years.
yeah, that's a great goal to have. And I mean, obviously with the stars already wearing the cleats now, like yeah, it should like that would make sense to make it the standard. But yeah, anyway, Jack, like thanks for the time and appreciate talking to you.